Hey guys, welcome back to the Dan Miller Show. Uh, this was just reported, not for the Bills, but in the NFL. The Vikings, Minnesota Vikings, have named veteran quarterback Kyler Murray as the starting quarterback for Week 1. We'll have to see what happens with that and everything. That'll be interesting. I'll keep an eye on it. As far as injuries, we're still day to day with this Ty Johnson and um, McGovern, the center for the Buffalo Bills, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. So hopefully they'll come back, but I have confidence in you know Cushenberry and Van Payne Granger, my VPG man. They'll probably get reps in that week one for starters and backups just in case as well. Like I said earlier too, like in my last episodes or a couple episodes before that, is that like the thing I'm worried about is our backup quarterback. It is a real shot to see who's going to be the backup quarterback. Is it going to be Kyle Allen or Shane Buechele? It's going to be very interesting to see. The preseason, it's coming up. It's coming up Saturday, guys. We all know that. I'm going to do a reaction right after the game, be able to watch it. But it's going to be interesting. Does Ray Davis come the number 2 guy with Ty Johnson out? The backup quarterback, too, I'm going to go back to that real quick before I venture all over the place. Like I said, ADHD, I'm all over. So I'm sorry if I bounce around and stuff like that, but I love talking about the Bills and stuff like that. But maybe whoever gets caught is good enough, or we make a trade to, hey, we can get this guy as our backup quarterback because we know he's been a starter, blah, blah, blah. If we don't like what we got, as back we got Josh Allen. Just pray that Josh Allen does not get hurt or anything like that. So we got to hope for that. So Ray Davis comes number 2 with Ty Johnson out. He's day to day. He's he's going to be the big focus in the offense. He could definitely be the catching out of the backfield and stuff like that. To me, we'll have to see what happens with that and everything. But wide receivers, get in that real quick. DJ Moore. Do we need to say more? It's DJ Moore. Do we need to say more? Come on. I mean, him and Josh Allen, deep balls, this and that. Like, you're hearing it every other practice or every day at practice. It's just like, how many legit me was sacks or interception, if, they can't really, you don't want to hurt your own guy and everything, boom, you know what I mean? You just want to get a little tap, a little love tap. There you go. Done. You know what I'm saying? As far as that and everything. But, who's going to be, like, all right, DJ Moore, Shakir, Coleman are definitely probably your, that guy's, like, who was it saying earlier in the podcast? I forget who said it on one of the podcasts, on one of both Bill's podcasts. They were like, who's going to be that 5th or 6th guy, wide receivers? Do they carry 6 even? So DJ Moore, Coleman, Shakir, Palmer, Skylar Bell, does he even make the team? Because he's not looking that good, you know what I mean? The short routes looks like it would, he's got the speed and stuff. So, but turn around and look for the ball. Palmer. So, is it between Palmer and Coleman to be your number 3 wide receivers? So, but right now we got Moore, Shakir, Coleman, Palmer. Is it Skylar Bell at number 5? Is it Hardman, number 5 or number 6? You know what I'm saying? Like, who else could it be? Like, you know, I think Patson. I think he looks pretty good. You got Max Tompkins. He looks pretty good. You know, but preseason is gonna show all this. Gus Snell, he's from what I heard, he's been doing real good. These special guys, special teams guys, gunners or punt returners or kickoff returners, so they're going to get their shot. Along with Hardman, he's the only one that scares me on the punt return. He's known to fumble and stuff like that, and he has before. So, going into preseason, that's what I'm looking for. The backup quarterbacks, the running backs that could help, Frank Gore Jr., Ray Davis. We know we've seen him as a starter and stuff like that. Like, he's carried on. He's pulled his weight, and then he fell off a little bit, but, not fully off. So, and he wants to be more in the offense, so he'll help passing game, running game, and everything. Hopefully he can do that. Punt return if he needs that too, because he's done that. He's done it. So I want to look for the backup quarterback. Wide receivers I'm going to look at, And then overall, pitcher-wise, the defense, what's that going to look like? Can the, Sal Capaccio said it best. It is true, probably. We're probably going to, shut them down. And then maybe the next series, next time they get the ball, the offense, let's say like the Rams or Detroit or Cincinnati, whoever we play, all these teams that are pretty decent offense or better, we could shut them down. Hey, this series, we shut them down. And then we do. And then the next series, crap. They just bombed it, But Jim Leonard's defense, it's going to go after that ball. They're going to go tack, 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 and stop it, deflect it, intercept it, blitz. You're going to not see this blitz coming, like John Cena and Can't See Me. You ain't going to see that blitz coming, and that's what's going to do it for them, for all that and everything. And I think it's going to be fantastic. But, we're going to get pissed off. Fans are going to get pissed the fuck off when, they blow a big lead. Hopefully it's not, towards the end of the game where we can win it. That's where, that's what we need. We didn't have that before with the 13 seconds game. Last year when if White didn't go out, we probably won that game. But, maybe he'll come back too. But we'll have to see. I'm looking forward to the defensive linemen, the linebackers, the corners, the safeties, who's going to be the backups, who's going to be, number 2, who's going to be number 3, who's going to be the slot corners, and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that when we get there. So I'm going to look for that in preseason week 1, see what that defense looks like, Jim Leonard's defense, and they're going to blitz, or, be a very, 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 very aggressive team for the Buffalo Bills. We need our defense. Our offense is going to be fine. I think they're going to put up like 30 to 35 points a game. Now, there'll be a game or two where we win like 24-10 or 24-17, or 27 to, 27. You know what I mean? Or 27 to like 21 or something like that, or 28 to, or 29. It'll be, we won't get over 30 every single game. Sometimes it'll be a battle. Like it could be a shootout. We did Detroit that one year when we went to Detroit. Did it with the Rams. Home and away. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But I think for the Buffalo Bills, that's what I'm going to look for is overall pitcher defense. But offense, I'm looking at wide receivers, backup quarterbacks, running backs, and some of the running backs, see what they could do and stuff. But, and then offensive linemen, see who could be the backup centers. If we need the tackle, we got to look for, but Deion Dawkins, Grable and Blueberry, all these guys that Deion Dawkins needs to trust to be next to him, as well, that he can, if he had to come out, got Alec Anderson on the, left guard, all these guys and stuff that we need. We can rotation and stuff like that. So we'll have to see what happens with that. So we're going to keep an eye on that as well. Next Tuesday, I will be at the Bills open practice. So I will have footage, pictures, videos, me there, my point of view of the stadium. So hit and like, subscribe to this channel, rate and review if you listen to the audio. If you listen to the audio, go to the YouTube channel, Dan Miller Show, to get all that information you need, because I will have videos and stuff like that. I'll try to get them out as fast as I can. TikTok and everything, Facebook, hit like, subscribe to this channel. So you'll get my point of view of the stadium, my reaction to it. From what I see online, it looked like, somebody took a picture, but it was like, here's the stairs, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, this is the stair. Oh, here's the seat. It looked like that to me. I'm not saying there's, so we'll get my opinion on it. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's going to be that way. So I don't care. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I'd just be happy if I had season tickets. Maybe one day, if I'm here long enough. If I stay in Buffalo forever, Buffalo for life, But Bills fan for life, that's for sure, damn sure. 100%. But like I said, hit and like, subscribe so you can we'll get that for you next Tuesday, stuff like that. But I'm going to do, a quick reaction after the game on Saturday. I might get something in there if there's something important. I'll try to get another podcast out there before that if I can. But every game this season, I'm going to do a quick reaction, and then I'll do actual podcast after the reaction. All right, we settle down, win or lose. Here's my positive. Here's my negative, stuff like that. And then on Tuesdays, I will have my power rankings. I'll do all 32 if you want me to do all 32. I could do all 10, top 10 in the NFL, including the Buffalo Bills, maybe AFC, NFC, and then, top 10 AFC, top 10 NFC, and then we'll put it together. We'll do top 20. We'll see. We can mix and match them. That'll be on Tuesdays when that comes out. So, when the season starts, or right before the season starts. So, the last Tuesday of August, I think that's when it'll be right before the season starts. It'll be a week before the season starts. So, so make sure you hit and like, subscribe to the channel, and thank you guys for tuning in to this Dan Miller Show. Till next time, go Bills.